I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Oh, it's been pinched! It has been pinched, and it's the Rocket, isn't it? It's Jensen!
It's scored! Hudson Huddersfield will surely be going to Wembley!
It's going to go all the way!
It's going in for the Giants!
He's deceptively quick for a half-back. Is he going to go all the way?
They've got the numbers out wide here of Huddersfield. They have got the man out wide. It's McGilvray for the corner, and McGilvray is in.
Right, welcome to episode 8 of the Talking with Giants podcast. On Friday evening, a nation gathered around their TV sets in the hope that their heroes will be able to send the Scots back north with their kilts tucked between their legs, but experienced disappointment. In Huddersfield, the disappointment was twofold. Whether you were at the game or sat at home with one game on the TV and the other on the laptop, happiness was a long way from a HD postcode as the Salford Red Devils came to the John Smiths and, despite playing the majority of the game with 12 men, got one over on their old boss with a single-point victory after referee Scott McLauskas had sent off the wrong man. We're back with a normal panel today and champing at the bit to have their say are Nathaneal Wood, Jake Rowlands and Josh Phillips. And on Father's Day, as it is today, on the day we're recording, I'm slowly winding up the clockwork toy and I'm ready to release the pent-up energy that it holds. Jake Rowlands, give us your thoughts on Friday's game.
Personally disgusted. Never come away from a game as low as that over the last 10 years, I'd say. You know, it's got to that point where I think we're at the lowest of the low now, despite not being bottom of the table. I said on Facebook, you know, you can throw all the excuses in the world. You know, wrong man got sent off. They've missed a few of the bad challenges. We still should be beating a team that's been leaking points for fun over the last few weeks. They've come here, they've absolutely taken the mick out of us. They've shown us just how bad of a team we are, if not bang average team that can occasionally get up for a game. You know, it's a good job Lee who are in the, you know, are in Super League this year, because if it had been a team like London Broncos where a couple of years ago, I'd be saying we're in massive danger of getting relegated this season. Absolutely terrible. You know, one out rugby. Even when they went down to 12 men consistently, just one man up the field rugby, and it just don't work. And you've got to question Ian Watson's tactics at that point. You know, they're obviously playing that sort of rugby because that's the way he wants us to play. But after 60 minutes and you're thinking, we're not getting anywhere here, for me, you've got to start throwing the ball out wide and trying to, you know, because in games where we have done that, we've looked dangerous, you know, with the gaps out wide, which we could see in the stand. Just absolutely ridiculous. I genuinely don't think half the players give a monkeys. I think only a couple came up within about 15 yards at fans after the game, which says it all. You know, a couple of players are moving on at the end of the year. I think it shows in their performances. Caesar, absolutely rubbish. Can sort of excuse him because he's been off with COVID, you know, and hadn't trained for a week or so, but still, you know, he's got to be standing up in them games and saying, you know, this ain't working for us, you know, try something different. He didn't. Lee Gaskell, absolutely poor. Thought that was one of the worst games he's had. His kicking were absolutely diabolical. You know, and you've just got to wonder, you know, when we've got, like I said before, you know, playing Leroy Cudjoe out on the wing, or a really bad miss by him. Should have gone in that corner there. You know, for me, Lewis Senior scores that hands down, week in, week out. Watson's obviously got a problem playing with some young players. You know, Sam Hewitt's been at Halifax, been playing really well. And then you've got players like Joe Greenwood that keeps, you know, a placing team, who has been absolutely woeful all year. And that topped it for me, that performance by Greenwood. You know, he brought him straight back on. Oliver Wilson went off after about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then didn't come back on all game. So you've got to question, you know, with what Watson's doing with his subs earlier on in the year. Sam Wood had 2 games back-to-back where I don't think he even came off field. You know, what are we doing? You know, we're not a club that can afford the luxury of having somebody on bench and not playing them. You know, we're a really poor side. And for me, that you know, we've gone backwards. I've had people message me on Twitter and Facebook saying, no, we've improved loads. Look at them performances against St Helens. But like I said to you guys, we beat St Helens away last year. So have we really improved? You know, I'm not one for celebrating losing to top teams, but yet we're also a club that can make every excuse under the sun when we keep getting beat week in, week out by poorer teams. You know, what sort of team are we? You know, we've proved we can't beat OKR, can't beat Wakefield, can't beat Salford. yeah, we've beat a Leeds team who we all celebrated, but let's face it, they had 3/4 of the squad missing. So we're allowed to throw them excuses when we get beat by rubbish teams, but we're not allowed to say, well, hang on a minute, did we actually play that well against Leeds? It works both ways, doesn't it? For me, we're a very poor team, and I can't see us winning many more games this year unless we vastly improve. I'll let somebody else have the say.
I was expecting longer than that, but you cut that short, I think.
I could go longer, but I don't want to offend too many fans. But yeah, just woeful performance for me. Absolutely woeful. Anything
on that, Nath, to add into it?
No, I'm not as critical as Jake. I was angry on Friday night, probably more upset than angry. I'd expect us to beat a St Helens team who were down to 12 men for 50 minutes, never mind a Salford team that's conceded 102 points in 2 games. I think the biggest word for me is, apart from his try, we didn't actually like scoring another try, which for me is the most important thing. I do question Ian Watson's tactics. I still believe he'll get it right, but at the minute he wants to play these grinding tactics. Well, when have we actually won a grinding battle? All right, we might have won against Leeds when we beat Leeds, but they had, like Jake said, they had about 10 injuries, a very weak team out, and we only just scraped past them. When we beat Warrington, we're probably the most entertaining half we've played since Watson came, and we blew away in the first half, and that's what won us the game. And you can't really see you grinding the lead down because, no disrespect, everyone's grinding them down and beating them heavily, so that was just a piss easy test, wasn't it, for us playing Lee. Just the whole night was disappointing. Every aspect of it. I agree with Jake. Some of the players, for me, don't look interested. I won't name them on here because I don't like to be pinpointing certain players, but there were 8 players I've come out of the game and thought, you know what, I can give the 8 players a bit of credit that they look like they tried and look like they care, but the rest of them are quite disappointed in. But yeah, the only positive I could go out Friday night is that we only lost by 1. Could think if they had 13 upfield for 80 minutes, it'd have been another hammering, wouldn't it? So the last 2 performances now, it's a real worry. They said they had an attitude problem at Wakefield and they're going to come out and sort that. Well, they really didn't sort that out, and it was bang average again on Friday night. And I've just looked today to get ready for tonight, and there's fixture list for the next lot. So we've got Hull Friday, then we've got Catalan, Cass, Wigan, Hull, Saints, Cass. Well, if you can keep playing like that the next 2 games, then we won't win a game for the next 8 weeks. It's going to be very hard to watch. So something needs to be fixed up in training, and whatever they do this week, they need to make sure they come out fine on Friday. But no, a disappointing night altogether, and I do feel the same way as Jake. I'm just trying to think a bit more positive that we will bounce back. And
I mean, to be fair, we could bounce back, and you would look at it, can we bounce back? But then you look at the players that we potentially got missing this week. We've probably got Cogger and O'Brien missing from this squad because we failed HIAs. We've probably got Jake Wardle, McGilvery missing if they get selected. Hopefully, if not, they can play. Then there's rumours Lou Telly, Caesar and Kenny Edwards might be in combined nation squad, which means we'll have no choice but to play some academy players. That's a big ask, going to Hull and trying to... But yeah, again, saying that, it wouldn't be surprised me if Giants did turn over Hull, because that's what sort of team we are, to then probably go get hammered the week after. You don't know, but it's hard to see anything other than another good hiding next Friday, to be honest.
I agree with you. After the Warrington game, I thought, here we go now with Lee, Wakefield, Salford get 3 wins, the season kick start, they'll be in top 6, everything looks rosy, but somehow we've only managed to win 1 game, and I'm big enough when I'm wrong, and when I do, when my opinion does get changed, so I'm all my hands up, and tonight I'll do that. And probably going on what Jake said, I thought we were a decent team, but to be honest, to watch us last 2 weeks, now I probably think we're a bang average team who probably sit 9th or 10th in league, and for whatever reason we can seem to raise this game when we play St Helens or Wigan or Leeds. But you know what, if you can't do it every week, then what's the point? And I think that's a mentality thing, and that's what Ian Watson's got to change if he's going to succeed. But it's a lot easier said than done.
That's the problem. We can raise his game quite a bit with the top teams, but most of the time we'll always end up coming short. Occasionally we might win odd one, like against Warrington, but then we'll come short against St Helens twice. We'll probably end up coming short against Wigan. We might end up nicking a game against Catalans at home or something. But it's the attack that's getting me. We just look so poor for what were it, 75 minutes against Wakefield. We couldn't score. Did Wakefield take the foot off the gas? Who knows? If that were a close game, where it were, would we have scored? I don't know. At Wakefield yesterday again, did not look like scoring at all. And like Nat said, if Salford would have stayed with 13 men, I don't think we'd have actually scored a point on Friday night. We're just way off, absolutely way off. It's really disappointing.
I'll put it out there, and it's just a question for, Josh, you can answer as well. You can have your opinion, Matt, same with you. And for anyone who's listening, you want to message me and let me know your opinion on it. Are we any better now than we was under Simon Wolford at this point last year? Because I thought we played some decent rugby under Simon Wolford, and we lost some close games, but we were playing entertaining games and entertaining rugby, and fans were enjoying it. And that on Friday night was atrocious. It was bad. It was awful. Every bad word you can use, you can probably say. And I'm not even going to go to the players or the coaches. They'll know it's bad. They'll know they need to fix it. So I won't have a go at them. But was we playing better? Yes, we was not getting the same results and we wasn't winning. But are we any better from the Simon Wolford era under Ian Watson as we are now? And I do believe Watson will get it right. So let me stick up for Ian Watson. I am on his side. I am still backing him as coach. And I do think he'll get it right eventually. And I know it takes time. But right this minute, for these Giants fans that are saying we're doing better, you tell me why we're doing better than we were this time last year.
Do you want to go first, Josh?
Go on then. Yeah. Well, as it stands now, no, we're not better than we were under Wolford, are we? I'd feel really deflated about it all, to be honest. There was so much promised in the build-up to this season. I wasn't expecting miracles, but I was expecting a lot better than what we've seen. The only half of rugby that I've seen this season that's looked any good from us is Warrington in the first half there. When I watched that game, I thought, right, I can see what's coming together now. I can see where we're going. Apart from that, we've put a few points on Lee, but they that's not saying much, is it? And we nicked that win against Leeds, and we did all right against Saints, but lost. But then you look at the games. The first game of the season for me, I don't know. All season, something's just not felt quite right to me. I don't know what it is. But then, as you say, when it got to the Warrington game, I thought, right, we've turned the corner, and it's all coming together. And then we beat Lee, and then I want to know what's happened since that Lee game. How do you go from putting 44 points on Lee? I know we can say what you want about Lee or whatever, but to concede 30 points to Wakefield in the first half, that is just... I was so baffled by that. I could not believe that we've allowed Wakefield to put 38 points on us. And then, okay, Salford game, you've got the excuse, haven't you, of the COVID issues, and hope all the players are all right and stuff. But you've missed training, and you did send the wrong man off, so there's all sorts of excuses you can make. But to not beat Salford with 12 men for most of the game is I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd say no, we've gone backwards slightly, in terms of as an attack. Defensively, we look better at times than we did under Wolford. But like Nat said, attacking-wise, people that are paying in to come and watch the game, you're coming away thinking that were rubbish this year, most of the time. I've not enjoyed the game. It's been absolutely woeful. We did have his moments under Wolford, like Headingley away when we were 30-0 down at half-time. Similar to like the Wakefield game. But, then we had games like away at Castleford, where we lost by a drop goal, but it was an entertaining game, all the way through the game. You're on edge of your sort of, when I won't say edge of your seat because we were stood up, but you get what I mean. It was an entertaining game, We came away from the game thinking, we've lost, but it was still a good game of rugby. Whereas I came away from that on Friday thinking, that wasn't entertaining at all. That was absolutely woeful. And I said to you guys, didn't I, after 55 minutes, 6 minutes, we will lose this game. Because you could just see the mentality of the players, nothing changed. And I don't know, something don't feel right, as Josh said, I heard rumours that Caesar had potentially fallen out with Ian Watson. Don't know how true that is. He don't look interested to me. Something just don't feel right with the team. And I hope they sort it out sooner than later, because otherwise we could be in for a real long season.
But, the thing is, the calibre player that Aidan Caesar is, playing against Salford with 12 men, if he's on his game, he wins that game for us on his own. And he just didn't do anything. So there's something not right for me. I might be wrong. Someone within the club could say you're talking absolute rubbish, you're way off the mark. But just as an outsider, what I'm seeing, there's something wrong in that camp. And I think, I don't know how pre-season went, but I think some players maybe some know that they're leaving, but I think there's a certain amount of players within that group who are just not performing and they don't look to be enjoying it. And I don't know. I could be wrong, like I said, but that's what I perceive as an outsider.
I think what else has an impact is other clubs like Wakefield, OKR, and your Salfords. They know that on paper they probably haven't got as good of a squad as we have, but they know if they can raise their game 5% or just get up for that game with Giants, that's a winnable game for them, and they all get up for it. Whereas we don't. We just think we should just be able to turn up here and win. And them days are gone. You know, they went a long time ago, which is why I can't understand the thought process of the players, because you can just see within the first 10 minutes, you know, attitude's not there and we're not up for it, you know, and you could tell Salford were up for it. You know, you saw Seb running in hard and throwing offloads, and we just looked like we just don't give a monkeys. And it's just the only player that looks like he cares most of the time, you know, who really just goes hell for leather, full 80s Jerry. You know, he runs hard, and you know, some of others, yeah, they look like they're interested at times, like, you know, Kenny, like that says Kenny does a sidestep, but for me, he does show a bit of passion. Some of others absolutely don't, you know, they really, really don't. Josh Jones is another one, tries, you know, a few times he went injured, and, you know, if he couldn't be bothered, he probably could have gone off, you know, with an injury, thinking, oh, sod this tonight, you know, but he stayed on field despite, you know, getting 5 or 6 decent knocks on Friday. But some of others, you know, you've just got to question if they even care. You know, and I just think it's really poor. The paid sportsmen, you know, you should want to go out and do your job for fans that come and support you week in, week out. You know, it's really disappointing.
It is quite an easy thing. Go, you go, Nat, you go.
I do believe that they do try. I don't believe that any player goes out there and says that they're not going to try tonight. Like, Darnell had a pop at me the other week about it, and I wasn't questioning his effort that he's going out there to play when he wants to be, and he has his head in the game. And yes, he may have stuff going off the field, and he's what, you know, Caesar's got his family back home. Is he missing his family? All these issues could sort of make him look like I'm 100% sure in saying that he's not going out there, not wanting to try, and I will stick up for the players for that. The fact that they've come out big enough for a mid after the Wakefield game, they had an attitude problem. That's fair play to them. I don't think they had an actual problem at Salford. I can't put my finger on what was bad. But I wouldn't say that they're not interested and they don't care, because I do believe they go out there to win and give 100%. Sometimes it just doesn't portray that way to us in the stands. The most embarrassing bit for me Friday night, and I've said it to everyone for me, is we couldn't even set up for a drop goal properly against 12 men. Aidan Caesar found himself at 9 rather than being stood back waiting for the ball. It doesn't matter who passes the ball. You stand back and let someone else pass the ball to go for one and level it up and take us to golden point. Yet Caesar found himself at 9, and no one can tell me that was part of the plan.
No, I have to agree there.
Part of no plan.
And he still didn't really have any markers either. He still managed to get his drop goal away.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not having a go like Leroy here, because Leroy is a good centre. You know, he's a good backup centre. He's a great third choice centre to have. But having him on left wing, for me, is just absolutely ridiculous. You know, his first half, you know, whereas Darnell had run in and he carries, Leroy didn't in the first half, you know, and that sort of has an impact. But then he got more involved in the second half, you know, coming in and taking a few carries. But he just looks out of place on wing. He's not a winger. I don't think he particularly feels comfortable there. You know, a few years ago, 5, 6 years ago, he'd probably taken that try. But, you know, he hasn't played on wing for... Well, I don't think he's ever played on wing, to be fair. But,
especially on the left wing.
It's just...
He's played a couple of games on the right.
Yeah.
Maybe if he was on the right side of the field...
Yeah,
he's playing opposition, but he's still on the the correct side.
So that suggests to me that Ian Watson really doesn't trust our youngsters, you know, because if he did, Sam Hewitt would have surely been in that side this week with how he's been playing at Halifax. He's match fit. Owen Trout, I'm led to believe, who I didn't think did too bad when he came on, but I'm led to believe he had to isolate. So if that's true, why have you put a player in over a lad that's fit, match fit, ready to go? You know, it don't make sense. Don't make sense to me. I know Trout's young himself, but you know, it don't make any sense.
I'm just thinking out loud here, but thing is with Ian Watson, we've given him all the tools for the job that he's asked for so far, and it looks like we're carrying on doing that for next season with the players that are rumoured to be coming in. They're all his players. Right, if we go on a massive losing run now, the pressure's going to be on him, and we've signed all his players for next season. So, you know,
massively.
the club says obviously it's the long-term project with Ian Watson. I'm not saying for a minute that we're going to, jump ship and get rid of him or whatever. But all I'm saying is you're putting all your eggs in Ian Watson's basket, and if it doesn't work out, then someone has to come in and coach all his players. And I think it's maybe a little bit risky what we're doing. To be honest.
I have to agree with that. And if, for example, it doesn't rate the senior twins, which I'm getting the feeling that it doesn't, because I think Lewis would have featured by now. If so, if we don't rate the senior twins and they decide they want to move on, another club's got to pay compensation to the Giants for their age. Therefore, the Giants have got the senior twins, for me, in my opinion, to a bit of a ransom in the fact that they could offer them a really poor deal, both of them, but another club isn't able to sign them without giving the Giants compensation. Well, if clubs can't afford to give the Giants compensation, well, to me, then that's where the club's got to be big and say, we'll let you both go. If that's what you want to do to develop, we're not going to hold you back. But we could end up losing senior twins. It might not work out with Ian Watson next year. We've lost then two of our good academy products that could flourish elsewhere. And that's the thing. That's what I'm worried about at the moment, really.
We've had that before, haven't we, with Jake Connor?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, Jake Connor, yeah, exactly. And I can see that happening again this year. Could maybe lose both the seniors. They might go to Wakefield or another team, might end up playing regularly, and, it might end up biting us in arse. I don't want to be in that position, where we're looking to sign a 30-year-old Ken Seal or something on the wing instead of one of our, homegrown players that has proved in the past that he can play and he can score and he can finish. So, for me, he should have been in that team on Friday. And I just don't see, if he isn't in that team on Friday, how he's going to make the team going forward.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If he don't make this Friday's team, should definitely give up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a bit baffling. It seems to like the conservative approach, doesn't he? Playing the older senior players, even when they're out of position. And just I thought we were past all that. We've done that in the past, haven't we? And in recent years, that's one thing Simon Wolford wouldn't have been scared of, giving youngsters a go, and he did. And that's one thing I'll praise Wolford for.
I think maybe there is a little bit of a danger of looking back at Wolford with a bit of like rose-tinted glasses, because I don't think there was many people who were. Some people were upset actually when he got sacked, but a lot of people like, yeah, fair enough. It's more about what we do to move on from that. I don't think everything was perfect under Wolford. I don't think we'd have won anything.
No, definitely not. But did we give him the support that Ian Watson's received?
No, 100%.
Off season.
But that's what I mean.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. But my worry is we're buying all Ian Watson's players, and if it doesn't work out, then what? That really concerns me. You see it in football as well. So some of the models, some of the clubs have the model like the director of football signs the players, and the coach has got to work with what he's got, and we're going like the complete opposite way to that. But yeah, hopefully it does work out. But just
I'm sure it will. I've just got some hesitations at the moment. With the way we seem to be going. We've heard rumours this week, and Kenny Edwards wants out. Not sure how true that is. It's on somebody's posted it on Facebook, and I heard it from somebody else at the stadium on Friday. That's worrying. If so, why does he want to go? If that's true, just a little bit worried at the moment. Nothing much positive to come out of the last few weeks.
Any other rumours going at the minute as well? Because we're just taking into account that's one of the talking points, isn't it, Jake, that you brought up? So we might as well wrap up the rumours if you're on topic. Yeah. Off you go.
Go on.
Well, yeah. It's just for me. It's looking likely. I know I said last week that seniors weren't on the out of contract list. It suggests to me they've been offered a contract. Whether it's for the Giants, I don't know. Hope that we do sign them up. But as it goes on and they're not getting game time, especially Lewis, can't help but feel that it probably might not be here next year. If I were in his position, what would you do? You've played loads of games last year, the year before, scored a lot of tries, scored 4 against Catalans to keep us here, and now you can't buy your way into the team, even when we've got tons of injuries. You
stay.
You what? Sorry.
For me, you stay.
You stay. Well, I'd hope so.
He's 20.
2021 into, I think.
Tell me a 20-year-old at any other club in Super League who should demand to play every week.
Only like Harry Newman and stuff who are exceptional players, Exactly. So yeah, exactly. Which
he's behind Darnell McIntosh and Jermaine McGilver and fully fit. So when we are fully fit, he's not going to play, and that's nothing at Louis. Louis knows I love him to bits as a player. His days I followed him from the under-19s all the way through.
But do you play him instead of Cudjoe though? On wing.
Not necessarily. No, I thought he had it right. We could join the wing personally.
And Sam Woods, so that's suggesting to me he's 5th choice winger. Would you stay at that point?
I'd have to hear his reasoning before judging of why he's picked Sam and Leroy over Leroy before I can judge of why. He sees lads in training. It's all right you saying that he's playing well every week, which he might be, but if he's only putting 50% in training, why does he deserve to play on a weekend?
Yeah, true.
There's stuff going on that not we all see, and that's why I defend Watson with team selection. I can never say he got team selection wrong because we don't see.
No, that's true.
Like a trainer, and that's not me saying Louis putting 50% in. So I'm just saying no. We'll say someone else. If player A is putting 50% in and player B, who's not as good as putting 100% in, we all just said that we don't think. You've just said that you don't think the players are. Some of them don't give a. Don't
no,
care.
True.
You want players that care, so I don't care who's better and who's better. If you want players who care, let's put. So I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with the earlier point. If Caesar doesn't want to be here, and I'm not saying he does. If he's struggling with it, don't play him, pull him out, put over Russell in, let the lad develop. I'll know and I can call it hand on eye. I think Russell will make it Super League. But every time he's played in the last 4 or 5 games, he's played behind the beaten pack. Yeah. Now even people like Danny Buffett and Caesar struggle behind the beaten pack, yet we can't expect a 20-year-old halfback to dominate.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So for me, give him time. So maybe that's the issue. I'm sure he's working. Ian Watson's told Louis why he's not getting picked, and that's up to Louis to pick up and find out why. I've no doubt Louis will be a future superstar. For me, he'd be our first choice winger next year once Darnell leaves. I've actually seen, as we're on rumours, I've actually seen a rumour this week that Darnell may be going to Warrington.
No, that were a misprint.
A few Warrington fans have heard it, so I don't know where that's come from.
No, or a misprint that.
As far as I knew, he's signed for Hull.
Yeah. They re-edited the article later.
I didn't see the article. I just saw a few Warrington fans say it. But yeah, as far as I know, Darnell's going to Hull. Like I say, I've seen the thing about Kenny Edwards wanting out, which I actually saw on Thursday, were it?
Right.
Before the game, or Friday before the game that he wanted out. It's a weird one. No idea if that's true. Obviously, Fars will are here coming in.
But then
I found it strange that they were linking Kenny Edwards with moves for next season. But then I thought, he's under contract, so maybe, I don't know, maybe there is something to that because it sort of it fits with that story that we see about his linking to other clubs.
But then we've got Gaskell leaving, Caesar leaving. That's a new spine we've got next year. Is that another excuse we can throw next year if we start losing and we've got a new spine, we've got to give them a couple of years to and then we can't keep throwing these excuses out for me. We brought in Watson here to do a job. We've lost the spine this year. I didn't expect miracles this year, but with the squad we've got on paper, you do expect to beat the likes of Wakefield and Salford. We've got a far better squad than they have on paper.
Sad thing for me is this season's starting to look like a write-off already. It
is for me. It's gone. It's I can't see how we can. If we was going to make the top 6, we'd have had to put a bit of a run together. To be able to do that, you've got to beat the likes of Salford and Wakefield, and we can't. You look at the next 6 fixtures. You couldn't see any team going through that next 6 fixtures and winning. Every game apart from maybe St Helens. But even they're looking a bit vulnerable now. And as are Wigan at times, but there's no way we're going to win 6 games on the bounce. Some fans think we're capable of it, and they still do. And I don't see what they've seen to suggest we can do that.
It's not only that, but like you said, with all the players that know they're leaving, we've had this before many times.
Yeah, we have.
Nathan Brown, loads of players knew they were leaving. I mean, you know what happens. I'm not saying that they don't try because that's just such a lazy comment, but there's a difference between trying, isn't there, and like knowing you're part of a big project. And I just can't see us. I can't see us turning this around at the moment, but hopefully I'm wrong. It's not looking good.
The worrying thing for me is going back to that point of, do we think we've improved on last year? The players that we've brought in are our standout players, like your Luke Yates, Josh Jones. Apart from Jones, Lou Telly, Greenwood for me has been absolutely abysmal.
Why is he so bad? I don't understand.
I don't understand it either. But the others have really improved the squad, but yet we still seem a way off, similar standard, if not worse, to where we were last year. And if the players he's brought in have improved us, what does that suggest? If you look at it in that view, So the players he's brought in have improved us. They're the standout players, but yet we've not improved as a team.
Can I
So-
give
The
us
existing ones must be doing even worse.
So that's what I'm getting at. You know, Is
can I
it-
give us a positive?
Go on.
Yeah.
Try to think of a positive side of this then. So you're saying that Josh Jones and Luke Yates, two of Ian Watson signings, have come in, and you'd say, and in my opinion, I don't know what you three think, they've probably been our number 1 and 2 this season.
yeah, I just
If I
agree
could
with
vote for player at year now, it'd be between Luke Yates and Josh Jones.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Ian Watson signing. So let's look at Theo Farge. Tuilola here that he looks like he's bringing in. The rumours that Seb's coming back. Well, if Seb played like this Friday night, I'll happily take him back at
Yeah, me too.
still next year. Excellent on Friday night. So, but all these players have now played in big games and have winning mentality. Theo Farge, 2-time grand final winner. He knows how to win. He knows how to play in big games. Lola here, grand final, Challenge Cup final. Ikifo, Challenge Cup final. I personally think in our squad, it's a mentality thing that's up with him. Now, we've all said for the last 4 or 5 years, we've both had the same squad, that some things are not clicking, some things are not right, that's why we've been down bottom end of the table. If it's a mentality thing, is Ian Watson, yes, he might be going back to Lola here, and he's had a poor year this year, as far as I understand from some Salford fans I know.
Yep.
But Ian Watson trusts him, and he's played in big games, and he has that winning mentality. Is that why Ian Watson's bringing him into the club? Is that where our mentality switched?
Potentially, but hadn't Caesar been in big games and stuff over in Oz? You know.
Well, before this year, then, name who else has been in big games apart from Aidan Caesar.
Well, you'd have to.
Yeah, but we're not getting near the big game. We're not getting near big games, right?
No, we're not. But you'd have to put Jerry in that bracket because he's played at some big games at the
Jerry
World
in the
Cup, you know.
World Cup final.
But rest of them, no, they've not. No.
So then next year, you take it to next year. We've got Luke Yates, Josh Jones, Ikehefo, Theo Farge, Tuilola here. 5 there. That's up top of my head. I'm sure. We'll still have Jerry. He'll have played in big games.
I agree with what you're saying, but
we'll have more players who played in big games. And we all said that their experience against Warrington helped us get through that Warrington game. The more you have of them, the further you'll go, and that's where I think Watson will get it right.
No,
but does that mean Ian Watson can only coach players that he's coached in the past, though?
Well, no, because he's brought Joe Greenwood in, who, yes, completely agree so far. He's been horrific and it's not looking good for him. But again, he's played in big games for Wigan, for St Helens. He's played in NRL. If you get him playing right, he could just be struggling with a bit of form. For all we know, he could have a niggle and he might not be fully fit, but he put his hand up to play Friday because we're really short.
Have you seen any improvement in players that we've already got under Watson?
Yes.
Not the players that have come in. Who?
In certain players, I'd say yes.
Who? Can you give me an example?
I think Kenny Edwards has been better this year than he was last year. A lot better. I think Kenny Edwards has taken up the leadership role on that left edge with Tele and young Darnell on the wing. I actually think Jermaine McGill has been better this year than he has been the past couple of years.
Yeah. Do you think that's down? I've thought with Jerry that's down to, I think he said he's not got through a full pre-season in a while, has he, due to niggles and injuries. But
I like Adam O'Brien. I think he's been used. I think apart from obviously when they had to start Friday because there were no James Cunningham, him coming off the bench, I think that's the right thing to do with Adam O'Brien. I think our players have got better, and I believe.
I think Adam O'Brien's got worse.
I just think that for some reason, it's just not clicking.
Yeah,
for Watson and Greg Brown and Robbo to work out and the players to work out. I don't know what it is, but I do believe some of the players are better. But for some reason, as a team, they're just not clicking properly as a team, and that's where I think Watson will get it right. And that's why I'm not. Yes, I agree with you completely. For Friday night, it was disgusting. It was awful. Everyone who follows me on social media will see me Twitter and Facebook. I was angry and upset as anyone. And it's not like me to. It's not like me to go in on them. The post that the players who follow me and our friends on Facebook, they want to delete me. They're more than happy to do so. But I was disgusted with Friday night. However, having thought about it and seen highlights and just sit down and think about it, I do believe Watson will get it right. The bigger mentality players are coming in. We just need to be patient, and I do believe that our players are getting better under Watson. The only problem I have with Watson, like I said at the minute, is the tactics of one man grinding down, which I don't think is working. But
it seems to me though that whenever we've got like a full squad out, more or less a full squad, and everyone's in the position, we're okay. the slightest little thing goes wrong and somebody has to reshuffle, or we just go to plot.
Exactly. We had that problem last year.
Yeah, and previous years.
Me and you spoke about it last year. I think we were at Wakefield away, or
something like that. Yeah.
Wakefield away. We spoke about it. And what we do for some reason is when a decision goes against us, what shouldn't have done, we feel sorry for ourselves and we don't play. Now that's why I think Ian Watson needs to improve it. I think the players are improving and are getting better. Another one, I think, Matt English is a lot better this year than I thought he was last year.
Yeah, but the year before that, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I thought it went backwards. Yeah, so
he picked him up again this year to go again. Now, it could be down to numerous things. I'm not saying Watson needs to take credit or what, but the players will tell you that themselves. But I do believe Watson is improving our players. The players that have come in, like you said, Luke Yates, Josh Jones is the best. He's probably one to win player of the year this year. If you want to name a third, I'd probably struggle. You know.
So why are we getting these bad results then? If he's improving all the players and the players that are coming in are good, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying why. What is going wrong then? I don't know.
And I just, like I said, for some reason, I just think we're not clicking as a team. Like if we watched the game, we did try and pass it out in the last 10 minutes on Friday to win the game, but there were no structure to it. It was just fling ball to the next guy. It looked like we're just playing off the cuff and fling to the next guy and hope for the best. I think that's where our problem is. We didn't. For that first half at Wakefield, I don't think we defended as a team. Now, people put that down to Luke Yates missing due to being suspended. And
you can't put it on one player, though, can you?
No, but on Friday we defended pretty well. All right, I know, 50 minutes, they only had 12 men, but they still had 2 or 3 sets on the line and didn't look like scoring. So defence is a lot better, and that's what Watson's improved as defence. He's now just got to improve that attack and that link in attack, and it will take time, and like Jake said, we won't.
How can you go, though, from being pretty good at attacking-wise against Warrington, and then even in second half against Leigh, to then deteriorate so much against poor teams that have been really bad defensively?
And that's my question, is what I'm not trying to contradict what I've said. That's what I'm trying to go. So I do believe he's improved the players. The question is, why can we play so good against Warrington in that second half against Leigh, but then his next 2 games be Wakefield and Salford? And I don't know what it is. And quite clearly, at the moment, Ian Watson and Luke Robinson don't know what it is. And that's what they need to get the finger on, and that's what they need to improve. I think we also need to see if it's inconsistency. You know, will we have a couple of good results the next few weeks, or is it the case that the Warrington and Leigh game was the peak, and now we're going to have an awful run, or is it going to be we win 2, we lose 2, we win 2, we lose 2? Is that the kind of team we are? I suppose time will tell. Because we have got a lot of young players in our team, so you know, like Harry Newman for me, Harry Newman and Jake Wardle for me are probably 2 of the best young players in the league. But when you're 20, 21 and you're playing every week, are you going to play as well when you're a season pro every week? No. As a young lad, you're going to have bad games. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe we have got, with Darnell, you Matt English, Adam O'Brien's not that old. Jake Wardle in team, Owen Trout's not very old. So we've got 6, 7 then, and say 3 or 4 of them just have a bad day because they are young, they're still learning. Does that then? I'm not saying it is. I'm just a question. We are a young team, and I think it's the consistency is the key word, that we're not consistent.
We had a lot of senior players out there on Friday, though. I
meant in general rather than Friday night, mate. That maybe that's just where we're at, and but consistency being our issue. And like I said, I don't doubt the players that they do try. I know they try. Knowing a few of them personally, I know how much they put in, and I'll never bag the team and the players personally. And I'll say it as a team rather than the individuals. I think it's that consistency of putting your finger on why we're not performing. We've shown it at Warrington. We can play like that. So as Ian Watson, what you said after Warrington game, that Ian Watson's improved the players that was already at the club. Yes, you would have done. But then the next 2 weeks after Leigh, we don't. And that's what Watson's got to get his fingers on why the players are doing that, rather than have we improved as a team? Well, yeah, we have, because we won't play like we did at Warrington.
I mean, at the same time, I look at that Warrington game and I think Warrington can also be absolutely woeful at times, against Cass in first half at Cup. Have they just been really off that first half? And then, second half, they outperformed us, didn't they? I don't know.
Still got to punish them. Yeah, I thought we were good.
No. Well, I did, to be fair, but it does make you wonder, because I can understand coming off that League game and then playing St Helens, only scoring 8 points. But then when you're coming off it and playing Wakefield, week after week after week, have been, leaking points and looking poor. And they just suddenly looked like a quality outfit against us that could defend, and it was just like, how does that happen? It's just baffling, absolutely baffling.
Right then.
The two fixtures we just had, Wakefield away and Salford at home. How many times have we lost those fixtures over the years? It's just strange.
In recent years, it's they've become, it's fixtures that we should be winning, but we don't. Salford always seems to beat us at home, and we have a real problem against Wakefield, and I don't know what that is.
That's why I go back to your mentality point of view. If you look at the games that we lose and we play badly, it's the games that you expect us to win. Now, for some reason, our mentality in these games, like you say, we're going to go and we're going to beat Wakefield because we beat Warrington. If that's their mentality as a team, well, you're going to get beat because there's no giving Super League that you should win a game. And that's why I think it's rather players' ability. We have got a good squad. We've proved that. If like you say, people say you play well against St Helens. We did play well against St Helens. Yes, we lost, but we've shown that the best team in the league, we can go toe-to-toe with them. So why are we not doing it against Wakefield and your Salfords and your Hull Cars? That's the question for me that needs to be answered by the club and the coaching staff, and that's what needs to be fixed rather than are we a good squad? Because at the minute we're showing that, like you said, Jay, at the minute we're showing that we're a bang average squad. Deep down, are we a bang average squad? No, I think we've got a very good squad, but you'd call them a bang average squad at the minute.
The roller coasters of a new coach taking full effect, as we say. Right, coming up, we've got potential players in the England squad and the Combined Nations. There's a few strange ones. It looks like Jake Connor might be in the Combined Nations. Looking at social media, which is a strange one because I'd have him in my England squad. But what do you guys make of this? Then, do you think Aidan Caesar maybe that we haven't heard the the news yet of the call ups? Who do you think is going to maybe make it? Maybe into the combined nations, or would you even rather play the combined nations, or would you rather set up an annual test against France? I know France aren't exactly as good as England, but would you rather the combined nations or maybe France or another Tri-Nations event just to start this off with?
I mean,
I wouldn't play France. France
I think we could.
Xenophobic.
I think you should have just scrapped this game completely. To be honest, because of COVID and COVID kicking in, clubs short on players. I think it's just I think they should have just scrapped it, to be honest. But I have read on the Hull forum, they seem absolutely adamant. Some guy who apparently claims to work for the press claims that Lewatelli, Caesar and Edwards will be in the squad, so that means we'll have 5 missing to Hull's 3, Jake Connor, Chris Satte and I think Liggy Sow. Hull struggled to put a team out this week. I think they only had 17 fit players. So they're going to have to bring a few academy players into their squad for this week. But saying that, you looked how they performed against Lee.
So it didn't matter much, did it?
No, and you'd have to bank on them giving us a bit of a pasting on Friday. Like I said before, Wardle out, Jake Wardle, who I don't think will play for England this week. So I think I saw Matt Shaw, the journalist, say that if Wayne was trying to work with the clubs, that if players weren't selected, they can play for the clubs. So hopefully Jake Wardle, if he'd not selected, can still play for us against Hull.
Just on that point, Jake, why don't you think Jake will play?
I just don't think England will select him. I think he should play.
Just look Toby King guaranteed to play.
Yep.
I think we'd all agree on that.
Yep.
If Toby King will play.
Yep.
The other 3 centres, the other 2 apart from Jake Wardle are Dan Sargent.
He'll be banned. He should be banned.
He's going to get banned, so he can get anywhere near that England team after his shot. If we're looking at a 4-game ban, is Jake Wardle better than Reece Lynn?
Yeah, he is.
For me, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jake Wardle get a call up next to Jermaine McGilvray on the right wing.
Right.
Nickerson and Toby King on the left wing.
I love Jerry, but surely there must be a better option on the wing for England. At his age now.
But then
I love the bloke.
But then you've got to look at just how bad
better.
we've been this year and how many tries we've leaked down at right hand side, and then think they're getting their right centre and right winger selected for England. That's an absolute joke, in reality. But if that's the case, then fair enough. I personally don't think Jerry should be selected this year. I think there's other wingers. I know we've had this discussion but I think Davis deserves a chance this year over Jerry. But like I said, hopefully if Edwards, Caesar, I think Caesar's going to play for combined squad because I believe is Reynolds injured for Hull at the moment. He didn't play, I don't think, on...
He played Saturday.
Did he? Right. You see, You know, they've got Hastings, Reynolds, Maloney, Caesar that could all probably get selected. I'd say only 3 of them are going to be in the 19-man squad, you know.
Caesar will play, surely. Of those names you've said, I think Caesar's better than Reynolds.
Judging by the last few weeks, I won't say, I'm not convinced. No, he's not. No, for me, he don't play. You know, some of the others deserve it more than him going into this game. Jackson
Hastings is shooing in it because he's been named co-captain, so he's just shooing there as he's going at 6 or 7 at least. So you'd imagine, like I say, he'll be 6. Caesar, Reynolds. I think Maloney don't really do not either, so I'd probably go Josh Reynolds myself, but I don't think they will.
If the press have got it wrong and Connor's not in the combination squad and he's actually been called up to England squad to replace Sargentson because Sargentson's banned, which seems the more likely option to me, does Connor play instead of Jake Wardle in that instance?
Yes.
Yeah, for me he would, yeah.
For me, as much as I love Jake Wardle, and I still struggle to get my head around what Jake Connor can... You're not telling me Jake Connor is not in the 24 best players in this country.
Jake Connor's class.
Well, what? We're going to play him then centre?
You'd have to at the moment, yeah.
I don't care. He should be in the England squad. Yes, his attitude's shocking. He's a bit of a... I won't swear in the podcast, but he's a bit of a... But technically gifted, he is in the best 17 we've got in this country.
I think so.
But he's playing fullback.
Because Sam Tompkins should be playing fullback. For me, he's the best fullback in the comp. Sam Tompkins is probably the best player in the competition so far for me. Mm-hmm. So I think he wraps up your fullback spot. But there's no reason why he should be playing centre.
I suppose if he's playing week in, week out fullback for Hull, though, you know, it's be a bit of a dubious call.
Latrell Mitchell and Tom Javaich playing fullbacks for their club, but they stormed up in State Lodge 2 weeks ago and destroyed Queensland. So, Australia's done that for years with Greg Inglis and so it can work. But for me, for Jake Connor's the player that he can give you some out of nowhere. So for me, you find his place for him at somewhere, sure, even if it's your utility role off the bench.
But going back to that, we're obviously going to potentially have 5 players missing. Hull, I'm led to believe, are going to have 3 missing. And Hull have been a much better team this year than we have. How are they basing this selection on? Are they going to be more picky on some? I think we came a maximum of 6, Carty, I think, picked from your team. Are they going to be more picky with some teams than others? Seems a bit.
I think they'll pick their best team. That I think Tim Sheen's a coach of the Combined Nations. I think he picks his best team that he thinks he can pick. Yeah, Matt's a 6 you can miss, so he'll. If Jake Connor's not in England squad like he can pick up 6 from Hull if he wants for that Combined Nations squad. I don't see why he shouldn't be able to. What's the point limiting and what you can, and then England playing a week in Combined squad because you had to pick him because he's not player B because he's not as good as player A. Like England are not going to get the real test. But
judging from that, I don't think we can even name a squad. If we get them 5 missing this week, I don't think we've got enough players to name a squad for Friday.
Well, I've tried. My mate is a Hull SC fan, and he said they had 17 fit for Saturday. I think he said someone went off injured, plus the 3 or 4 that will be picked for the Combined Nation squad. He said that they think they've only got 14 players available, so we'll have to go to the academy. And I goes, well, to be honest, mate, I can't name our squad because I should imagine we'll be going to people like your Kieran Rush, your Will Price, your Fenton, saying you just have to come with first teams. There's a good chance you'll. People like your Ronans and your Aidens who are ball boys probably going to get a shout. But going back to what Matt said earlier, I would play a Combined Nation squad because when they called it the Exiles, I enjoyed them games. They were better than seeing an England team put 60 points on Wales and France.
Yeah, I agree.
It would, but at the same time, how many of them England players are actually going to get in World Cup squad that are playing when Australian players come into play? So it's hard to get up for it for me, because you like to. You've got Whitehead to come across, haven't you? You've got Tom Burgess will be in the squad. You've got lad from St Helens that went across to play for Canterbury. Thompson. Maybe Sutton might probably get in that squad this time, which season he's had for Canberra.
We've only got 4 or 5 now that would play over there that would generally get a game for England. Like I said, Thompson, Whitehead and... Who was the one you said?
Sutton. Burgess.
They're guaranteed to come over and be back in. So, you're outside.
Potentially.
Potentially he's been improved for Canberra this year, but if Sean Wayne likes him, maybe so. So yeah, you've got them who, but again, your outside backs. There's no outside backs coming from Australia to take your place. So if you get picked for this game, you're in the hot seat and you're in the first choice.
Didn't they include Farmworth last time in squad?
He's not. I don't think he's any good, to be honest.
No, well, I don't personally, but
I'd say Jake Wardle's better than him. So
yeah,
Get Chris McQueen back in the squad.
Dom Young.
He's been put into the Jamaica train-on squad for the World Cup, if anyone's seen.
Yeah,
as Dom. So good luck to him there.
Should be.
Yeah.
Right then, guys. So let's. I'm going to say move on to the whole game. Josh, you can jump in first with yours, but take us into what changes you would make for Hull. I know it's all a little bit up in the air at the minute, but just tell us what system, well, not system really, because they all play the same thing, but what sort of selection would you play, and what's your prediction for the game?
Well, yeah, as you say, it's going to depend on nations call-ups and all that. We could have a bit of a problem, couldn't we? Because if Jerry's playing, Jake Wardle's playing for England, and then Latelli's playing, that's 3 of your back line out. And then Darnell, he may or may not play, I don't know. But yeah, it also depends on that. All the players coming back from the COVID suspension and not suspension, yeah, COVID illness and track and trace, etc. So team-wise, I don't know. I can't say. But who would I take out? I would probably, give Lewis a go on the wing if he's available. If Cogger can't play. To give Ollie Russell or Will Price a go in the halves, just can't do any worse than Friday night. And as for a prediction, I think we'll turn up, and I think we will be involved in a tight, low-scoring game, and I think we'll lose 12-10.
I had a go, at putting a squad together, and bearing in mind we've still got blokes out with COVID. We don't know if they're coming back in. I'm led to believe not. So that probably rules out Ollie Russell, Sam Wood. The only one that might come back in is Gavi, because I believe he were banned. But again, I still don't know if he was involved in the COVID malarkey as well. So
get him straight back in.
Yeah, well, Ashall Bott's going to have to go to fullback, because it looks like Cogger and O'Brien are going to be out with HIA assessments. So Ollie Ashall Bott's going to have to make his debut at fullback. Louis Senior is going to have to be on left wing. I don't know we can name at left centre if Jake plays for England. Cudjoe's going to have to go on to right centre. Don't know who's going to play on right wing. So that's where academy lads are going to have to come in. Going to have Gaskell in halves with, I don't know who at this stage, potentially Will Price. Luke Yates, Ashton Golden's going to have to go to hooker. Ollie Wilson, Josh Jones, Sam Hewitt, second row, Bruno, loose forward. Then we've got Ronan Michael, Owen Trout, Joe Greenwood, and then probably going to have an academy hooker on the bench. I noticed George Roby played for academy at the weekend in their hammering of London. Maybe he comes in, or like Nat said, Kieran Rush has been playing quite well as well. If a few more of these have picked up knocks during the week or catch COVID, I think we're absolutely done for. And I don't say we can fulfil the fixture, to be honest.
We'll get a call up, won't we? A couple of days isolating. Throw me in at hooker and Josh on the wing. We'll be all right, won't we? You can do the running, Jake. You used to be a runner, so you can get. I'll let you be the leg man. Nat, what about you, mate? What are you going for?
I'm going to back us to turn up and win. I'm the positive one. Last 2 games have been garbage. They know that. It's typical Giants thing to do, to turn up and win. So I reckon we're going to sneak it. Going on Jake's point, I actually sat down early and had a go Jake as well.
Yeah,
I've gone with Will Price at fullback. I've got Louis and Ollie Ashall Bott to play on the wings. Cudjoe at right centre. I moved Joe Wardle back out to the left centre because he played there before. Gasky and Russ in the halves. That's if Russell wasn't one of the COVID, because I know there were a few. So this is obviously we don't know who's got COVID. You can only guess of who won in the squad. If Russell is the one who can't play due to COVID issues, you probably put Price into, maybe Price into halves and bring Aidan McGowan into fullback and playing both. Wilson and Gavitt to start props with Golden at hooker. Jones and Greenwood at second row, Yates at loose. Then a bench of Bruno, Hewitt, Trout and Ronan. I reckon you just go with Golden at hooker for 80 minutes, to be honest. That's just quickly off the top of my head. I've literally sat down for 10 minutes before we joined and just try and stick it together. We'll see how close I am. And that's presuming, obviously, that the 3 combination stars get bit. Obviously, if they don't, they'll straight back in. I presume that the 5 or 6 that had COVID can't play. I think that's what I got from Ian Watson's press conference before the game on Friday. I might be wrong, so don't hold me to that. Someone might correct me, but I don't think they're available for selection again this Friday due to...
What about Jack Ashworth? Is he injured? We've not heard out of him for a while.
I've not heard out of him, so yeah, he could be put onto the bench instead of someone like Ronan or...
Yeah.
That's another strange one for me. Why is he not? What's going on?
God knows.
But, so going back to your prediction, Matt. Hull 22, Huddersfield 24. Russell penalty conversion to win it as in last 5 minutes, and next Monday we'll all be sat here singing Russell's praises, telling us we're going to play every week and we're going to win Super League.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully.
I'll go Giants. Giants 8, Hull 36.
Not a close one then, no?
No, I can't see it.
I'm going to go...
if Reynolds is missing out, and he's playing and they've got a few other players that can step in, they played really well at the weekend, so, you'd have to back them to back that up at home in front of their own fans.
I'm going to go 24-12 to Hull. Is my prediction on that one. Right, guys, I think we're into the Adam O'Brien any other business round now. So speak now or forever hold your peace, and we'll or forever hold it till next week. And anything that you guys have got that you want to bring up? Or shall we wrap this
shout
one?
out to the other guy, obviously guys that are listening. Anything that just remember that last I've had a few messages about when we've done it previously. They are just our opinions, so. If you don't
take it personally,
don't get upset.
Yeah. I always like to interact with other Giants fans, so I always open up there. If any Giants fan is listening, you don't agree with me, or you agree with what I'm saying, just drop us a message. And I always like to listen to other people's opinions and see how they saw the game from Friday as well. So if anyone wants to have a chat about it, then feel free to get in contact, and I'll put Jake your way if you agree with Jake. If anyone wants to be positive, then I'll put you towards Jake, and you can have it out with Jake. It's quite fun. So.
I received quite a few messages of angry people, but I do get the feeling some Giants fans would be just as happy if we got relegated and find the positives in that as well. So each to their own, and don't take offence to what we say. And if you do want to drop us a message, please do.
Just one final one from me. What was it like being in the ground from your two perspective?
Wasn't a very good atmosphere. From a Giants perspective, I'll give a massive shout out to Salford fans who sang from the first minute till the last. They really got behind the team even when they got the man sent off. Absolutely brilliant support. I think there were maybe 150, 200 of them, but they were really loud. No atmosphere, from a Giants perspective. Once Salford got the man sent off, it picked up a little bit and then just went really quiet again. So, for me, don't know if the fans can do a little bit more to get behind the boys. I don't know, but it's hard when they're dishing out that sort of rugby, to be honest. So
it's hard when you spread out as well, isn't it? Because things don't quite catch as well as what you would think. I guess.
That's exactly what I found. For me, Josh, I was sat in more or less next to my normal seats. It didn't make a difference to me, but because, no offence if anyone's listening who was around me, because they don't normally sit around me and I won't with my mates. I felt it would be hard to start singing. So I agree with Jake, the atmosphere, but like Matt said, because you're so spread out.
Yeah.
A couple of my mates would sit with me, they were sat at the other side, they wouldn't even hear me trying singing, so I didn't sing much. And so the atmosphere from Giants was a bit, but like Jake said, I said it on Twitter as well, massive shout. There were about 150, 200 Salford fans, and they didn't shut up all night, and they got behind them, so fair play to them.
That's what I'm thinking, like what you said about the atmosphere there. I could get to some games during, before July 19th when everything's meant to open back up, but I'm sort of thinking I can't be really bothered because it just doesn't look great, and it sounds like what you've said there. I'm just going to probably wait until it opens back up.
Next season.
Yeah. For you, mate, I don't blame you coming up from down south. Is it at the moment? Is it really worth getting on a train for a few hours to come up to a bad atmosphere in a crap style of rugby? And I'm led to believe Ken Davey left the game. I'm not sure how true that is, but somebody reported on Twitter yesterday that Ken left pretty unhappy yesterday. On Friday, sorry.
Well, What's he going to do about it?
Open the checkbook.
Yeah,
Again.
Right then, so I think that wraps up another week of Talking with Giants. So thank you again for everybody that listens and interacts with the podcast. We wouldn't do this if you guys didn't get involved and listen. So thank you very much again for doing so. And hopefully we'll be back next week cheering on a victory against Hull and hopefully one for England. So thank you and speak to you next week.